Welcome once again. This is Humanist TV Africa. This is Humanist TV Africa, and you are most welcome today. You are most welcome today. This is Humanist TV Africa. Reaching out to humanity is our motto, and of course, reaching you right inside your living room, and of course, where you are to watch us. This is Humanist TV Africa. We welcome you on board. We welcome you to join us. And of course, we welcome you to support us to be able to take this message forward. We are committed as a team of humanists to do better, to do good better. We're a team of different humanists based across the world and of course throughout Africa. My name is Kato Mukasa. I'm currently based here in the UK, but of course my entire team is spread throughout Africa. Brian Kabeko, who is managing the production today, is based right in Nairobi, Kenya. And of course, I have Dennis Bongole in Uganda. I have Tawuya Chinama in Zimbabwe. And I have Fidelis Ngoma in Zambia. Then, of course, I have Obasi, the lawyer in Nigeria. I have Nandipu in Nigeria. And definitely, I have a team well spread all over Africa, Uganda. There is Dennis, there is Derek, there is Mariam, and of course, there is Mambu, and so many others of my team. We do work together. Now, this is Humanist TV Africa, and we are going to happen again in this show in which I talk about humanism. This is my second episode on the theme Why I Am a Humanist, on the theme Why I Am a Humanist. Many people normally wonder why I take a lot of time to talk about humanism and not the law, which I studied in school. I spent about 10 years studying the law to become a lawyer, but I don't actually talk about the law. I talk about humanism. Why? Why am I a humanist? I'm interested in sharing why, honestly, we need humanism today more than ever before. Now, this is episode 2. Welcome again on board. Welcome again. And this is Humanist TV Africa. I want to encourage you to subscribe to Humanist TV Africa. Please subscribe. Do one thing for us. Please help us as we help the entire community around you. Subscribe, like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to Humanist TV Africa. Share it with so many other people so that we can get to know many people. We can get to meet many people. This is Humanist TV Africa. The subscription name is right there at Humanist TV Africa. This is a YouTube channel. This is a TV online. This is a TV online. We have a Facebook page, Humanist TV Africa. We have a YouTube channel, which is Humanist TV Africa. We wish that you do subscribe and we raise these numbers because powers also lie in numbers. Numbers also give us the powers to continue to be able to reach up to you, to reach out to you, and to reach out to thousands of people. We dream to reach out to 1 million people. We dream to reach out to millions of people. And every journey, as the Chinese said, starts with one step. Every journey starts with one step. We have been here for 2 years, by the way, as Call to Activism Africa, and we have been here for now a month as Humanist TV Africa, but we've been here for 2 years on this very channel. So we want to continue growing from strength to strength. This is Humanist TV Africa, and as I said, we are opening up studios all over Africa to give you news as it happens, to give you current news as it happens, to give you investment news as it happens in Africa. We are specializing in African affairs. Though we can tell you about the world, we can tell you about what's happening in Europe, what's happening in the US, what's happening in China. We shall tell you the things in our programs, but our specialization like all other good meaning people, our specialization is Africa. We mind about issues in Africa more because we want to bring Africa to the people. We are that Africa has been given a very wrong image. People describe us as a dead continent. People dying, people are poor. We are not that. We are far from that. We are much alive. We are much productive, and we're going to be showing you how good Africa is, how best suited we are to trade with you in Europe, how best suited we are to trade with you in the US, trade within China and Asia. We want to show you the other side of Africa you don't normally see. Now, this is why we're here. We want to showcase the side of Africa that you don't normally see. And we want to be the ambassadors of Africa as Humanist Africa. But before we do that, we thought that it's important for you to understand what is humanism. It's important for you to understand why we are humanists. Now, welcome once again. This is Humanist Africa TV, your online TV, where things happen, and of course for a reason, and where we are not dogmatic, we are not superstitious, we don't believe in any gods. I am an atheist, I am a humanist. Now, we want to promote reason, logic, rationale, understanding, tolerance, love, and above all, peace and harmony. We want to create that kind of world where we can work together, where we can reduce on tensions within humanity, where we can reduce racism, where we can reduce discrimination, where we can promote love, peace, tranquility, harmony. This is what we look up to create a world where all of us can be able to fit in and to work better and to enjoy the one life we have. As humans, we always say we have one life. Now, I've been saying this over and over that I have one life. The day you die, trust me, I'll be dead. D-E-A-D. I will be dead. I will never rise again. I will never live again. The day I die, I will be seriously dead. Now, this is what humanism actually preaches, that you have one life. You have one life. Now, because you have one life, you must live that life reasonably. You must live that life mindful of others. We are not here on our own. We are here for others. We are here because others made this better for us. We are here because our grandparents made sacrifices for us. We are here because there are people who made things happen. The trees from which I fell when I was in Africa, the trees, the jackfruits, the mangoes, the whatever that I ate from in Africa were not planted by me. The bananas I ate when I was young were not planted by me. Everything I used had been done by someone else. So it means that even us as human beings, we must do our part. We must play our part. Shakespeare, one of the guys I love so much, said that the world is like a stage. I taught Shakespearean books for about 15 years. I taught literature of Shakespeare, so I know the guy. He wrote in one of his plays that the world is like a stage. Each of us have a role to play, and when that role expires, you expire. I repeat what Shakespeare said. The world is like a stage. Each of us, me and you, have a role to play. When that role expires, we expire. I love Shakespeare. I love Thomas Hardy. I loved all these English writers. They were great people when it came to love, romance, and reason. Now, this is what I pick from Shakespearean time, the Victorian time of writers. Now, once Shakespeare said that the world is a stage, everyone has a role to play. I said, what is my role? I asked myself, if the world is a theater, if the stage, should my role be to shoot people? Should my role be to give poison to people? Should my role be to grab their land because I want to be so rich? Should my role be to be corrupt and steal money meant for others? Should my role be to abuse people? Should my role be to insult people? What should be my role? As I was teaching literature, English literature to my students, I was asking myself, what should be my role? Should I be a role model? Should I be a dangerous person? Should I pursue wealth? Should I pursue glory? Should I pursue fame? What should be my role? What do I want to be in life? I always ask myself, what do I want to become in life? Do I want to be a president, a minister, a politician, a member of parliament? All these things are good. Do I want to be a lawyer, which I became at the end of the day? And so what? So I was asking myself, after doing all the law degrees, going to the bar, you call it being quoted at the bar, becoming an advocate and all that. So I was like, after all this, after qualifying to become an advocate, so what? What else do I do? And I was always asking myself, how best can I contribute to my country, but also to my world? Because my country is part of the bigger picture. I was asking myself, what can I do? And I've been saying this in my private talks, that I found humanism first in a book written by Frank Fanon. I think the book is called The Wretched of the Earth. The first time I read the word humanism, it was in a book written by Frank Fanon. People should be careful if they're reading it, because it's not actually well pronounced. He writes it somewhere in a paragraph and explains it. Very, very briefly, Albert, very, very briefly. And then I was like, what is this? This guy is talking about. He's talking about North Africa, he's talking about all these things, and then he talks about humanism. So it hits me a bit hard. And I'm a teacher of English literature. In these schools, I was teaching English language and English literature. So I was like, why is Fanon talking about humanism? What does it mean? And of course, I was already an atheist. I never believed in God since 12 years. I've told my story how Socrates changed my thinking, but most importantly, the man who changed my thinking is Voltaire. His book is called Philosophical Dictionary. The name is in French, then they translate it into English as Philosophical Dictionary. That is one book that made the hell out of me to become an atheist. And I'm reading this book, I'm 12 years. I'm already reading Soyinka, Chinya Achebe, Alecha Amadi, and all these Russian writers, Fyodor Dostoevsky, Leo Tolstoy, Arthur Koestler. I'm reading all these Russian writers who are good atheists. Anyway, I love Russians. I love Russians. Now, these Russians are so good, they write less about romance. Russians are very serious than these other folks who write about romance. Russians write real stuff. Russians are revolutionary. If you look at their literature, you will see the difference between Russians and Americans and these others. They are very serious writers. They write the real stuff. They want change. Look at Leo Tolstoy, you will see a revolutionary writer. Look what the Germans are the same. Look at Karl Marx, look at Friedrich Engels, and all these guys. The Germans are the same. They want a change. They're revolutionary minded. Think about romance and love that these other guys talking about love. No, Germans are more serious. Russians are more serious. The same applies to the Norwegians when they are writing. Me who look at their works and taught their works, I appreciate I can make a difference. These are so much into romance. These are so much into revolution, changing people's mindsets, trying to write about revolutions and how to change a country. Those are Russians, those are Germans. Now, when you look at their works, when your brain is working as a teenager, you see people who want to change their world. I read Soyinka and I became mad. I was like, why are these Africans in the 60s and the 70s writing this stuff? Why are they doing this? They are communicating to us. What Soyinka, in his play, Congo's Harvest, writes the best poetry, but in a verse form, and the message is so powerful that it changes what terrain of thinking about politics in Africa. And the book is written about 1960s, 1970s. These are old written books. I look at the works of Chinua Achebe and my mind falls in love with this African guy called Chinua Achebe. He writes beautifully, but he writes a story of African people in Nigeria asserting themselves, but also tells you how the Europeans are stealing away our culture. Chinua Achebe changed my thinking. Why am I a humanist? Chinua Achebe. Why am I a humanist? Wole Soyinka. Why am I a humanist? Alechi Amadi. These are Nigerian authors. I read their works. I'm young. I'm thinking. And I say, why are they writing these things to us? Achebe tells you when things fall apart, how the imperialists have come and how the imperialists have claimed that everything about us is inferior. The imperialists have come, the colonists have come, and they have told our people that everything about us is inferior, that they are superior, they have a better God, they have better technology, they have better education. They have basically demonized us. And apart from that, as if it's not bad enough, they have told people that our cultures are bad. They have gone ahead to even interfere in our land system. That is Nigeria. They do the same thing in Uganda. They come in Uganda, they find us with a better land management system. They confuse us, they polarize us, they divide our land into portions. They give much of the land to the crown, and they do a lot of havoc in land system. As a lawyer who studied land, I know what I'm talking about here. You find the people with an organized land arrangement, and you disorganize it. This is what they do. The imperialists come, they'll tell you everything about you is wrong. Ours is the right way to go. Now, as a thinker, I was wondering which type of people are these who come and say, my culture is bad, my traditions are bad, my language is not good enough, my education system is backward, my gods are bad, almost everything about me is bad. Why am I a humanist? I thought that the authors of that time were communicating something to us. They wanted us to think harder. Why is it that these imperialists come and tell me that worshipping a stone is bad, worshipping a mountain is bad, worshipping a big snake is bad, but worshipping an idol, a statue of Mary, a statue of Jesus Christ, a statue of all those angels and all that stuff, that worshipping a collection of soil and sand painted with color, which is pink, they call it white, which is yellow, which is orange. Now, they tell that if you worship this one, you're okay. You're going to heaven, and their heaven is up there. If you worship this pillar of salt, pillar of sand and cement with color on it, if you kneel down and you worship this statue, don't even call it an idol. No, this is God. They say, don't worship the mountain. No, don't worship the river. No. Don't worship the tree, the big tree. That's evil. Don't worship the animals. Don't worship your ancestors. These are bad. But when you worship Jesus Christ, we have brought you the best version in life. We have brought you the best version in life. Once you kneel down and you worship this one, which resembles like me, trust me, you are going to heaven. So, as Kimathi said, as Ngugi wa Thiong'o said, as Tutu, Desmond Tutu said, as Nelson Mandela said, these people give you a Bible and they tell you you are good to go. They give you a Bible, they tell you everything's good. Actually, happy are the poor because the kingdom of God is theirs. They tell you happy are the poor. The kingdom of God is theirs. Now, everywhere where there is a hill, we want to put there a church. And this land belongs to our queen somewhere. Now, this land belongs to your king here. Now, this land belongs to so and so. Now, you people, you are going to be subjects of this guy who is also under us. When Soyinka writes this, when Chunia Achebe writes this and shows you how dangerous these people's philosophy has destroyed Nigeria. When the Song of Lawino, which I taught in Uganda, Okot Tibtek, a Ugandan poet who wrote beautifully and inspired me. When I was teaching his song of Lawino, a very big book, the title is called Song of Lawino, I felt challenged and said, why would Okot Tibtek write about this, about Western imperialism? Western imperialism, where they make a woman, an African woman, fear to have this skin, looks at her skin as something bad. An African woman fears to have this dark skin. Therefore, she must bleach herself because this skin is not good enough. She must be lighter. She must be better than this. So you will look at Song of Lawino, which I taught for years, and then you begin wondering, why is it that the people come to your home and demonize almost everything about you? They demonize, including your face, including your skin color. But at the same time, these people are giving you a God. They are giving you a God and they tell you this is the right God. So when I added 1 to 2 and 3, I said, we must have a paradigm shift. We must have a change about we look at things. So fast forward, I read about humanism from a book by Frank Fanon, and then the book is called Right of the Earth. Read it. That was about 97. I didn't appreciate it so much. Then 99, I go to university for the first time. The university is called Makerere University, the biggest university in East Africa. I go there. I'm a student there of economics and partly of philosophy, which I was actually, they call it get crushing because I was not doing it as a course, but I was interested in philosophy. So I used to go and attend their lessons. I was not in their department, but I used to go and get crushed because no one asks you whether you are doing that course or not. So I got to know that there were guys at the university who were not believing in God, who called themselves humanists, and they were meeting at the university library, they were meeting at the university pool on certain days, and I could go and meet them. So I go and meet them. This is when I meet people who call themselves humanists. The place is Makerere University. So from that point, I did realize that I had a family where I belong. I had a family where I belong. Now, that's why I chose humanism. That humanism is a philosophy that places everything else under the control of a human being and puts the human being at the center, at the fulcrum of life. That a human being is his own master. A human being is her own champion. There are no gods, my dear. Gods are man-made. That's why gods hate women. I repeat it for you, I think. Gods hate women because gods are man-made. All these religions will demonize women. Women in their menstruation period don't go near the altar. You are not clean. You can't become a bishop. You can't become a pope. Religion demonizes women. Look what Islam, look what Catholicism, even Protestantism itself demonizes women. Look at their holy books. Now, when you have a religion made by Stone Age men, Bronze Age, I call them the goat herders of the time, and then these guys are going to give you how to live your life in the 21st century. Guys who never knew that the sun sets, who never knew that the world works like this, who never knew anything about science, who were gamblers, who were so ignorant, who thought that the world was sat on pillars, who thought that the world was actually flat, that the world is flat. People who had weird ideas. They had nothing to do with what was going on. They never knew what was going on. These were gamblers. The people who wrote the Bible, the Quran, were gamblers, were ignorant twats, who simply used their imagination to write because their science was so limited. The world to them was a flat. They thought a flood can entirely wipe up the entire world, when even the mountain where the so-called flood was, Ararat, is very short. There are so bigger ones. Ararat is a very short one. When there are civilizations everywhere happening, and they are simply saying, here is the flood. The same people write the Bible and tells you, look, there was one man who God created from soil, and then this one man was made to sleep, and from his lip there came a woman. How hopeless can these people be in terms of science? How can you create a woman from a man's rib when their DNA is different? There's no way you can get someone who's born and create a woman when their DNA is completely different. A man is biologically different from a woman. But these twats, these ignorant goat herders, thought so. And then they said they are giving us their own God, a God of ignorance. A God where when we look at their Bible, he first makes crops, he first makes other things, then a son is made. Now, what comes before what? A book full of confusion, a book where a dead man writes about his story. A dead man, Moses, writes about his own story. And someone is going to say, no, it was Moses' son. You see, it was Moses' AD. AD is that assistant. No, they give all the excuses. They give all the excuses. Why? The religion can only be followed by ignorant twats, ignorant people. And by the way, there was a religion in Africa. I've been talking about that. There were multitudes of religions in Africa. Religion is a big word. Call them beliefs. Because the religion has been simply made up of recent. Call them beliefs. Belief in this, belief in this, belief in this. So they make organized religion later on. But people have been having beliefs in superstitions, in ghosts, in all these fake things. Now, come to think about all this, then you are going to appreciate why humanism is the way to go. People are fighting each other because of religion. Many of the conflicts today that are happening are because of religion. I've been saying this, people say, no, don't say it. I repeat it here. The conflict in Gaza today between Israel and Palestine is largely because of religion. You can deny it all you want. But certain people think that there is a certain holy place they must protect and they must own alone. And other people think that their mosque must be there and it's the holiest mosque in the world. Whether you bring in your politics of taking land, of being there before, it boils down to a holy place. These guys think they own religion. Judaism is completely different from Islam. They are crashing. In Uganda of Uganda, we had for the first time religious wars. How can we have religious wars in Africa? In Uganda, we had religious wars. Protestants fighting Catholics. Courtesy of who? The imperialists. They have told them a Catholic is much better than a Protestant. The French are confusing our people. The British are confusing our people. What happens? They fight. So religion spoils everything. Religion dwarfs everything. So I'm going to invite my producer to give us a montage of images to show us why we need more of humanism today. Producer, I'm going to invite you to start with that video. Please play that video kindly, and then we continue. Thank you so much for watching. Keep watching. See why I choose humanism. You can see in the first video, part of the video, an African child is crying for God to help him. The boy is obsessed with prayers. In the second video, Japanese children of the same age are constructing a house. Funny. An African child is obsessed with a God he doesn't know about. That my son is blessed. Blessed of what? Ignorance and stupidity? Thank you for playing it again. Look what this African boy, so obsessed with stupidity, praying things the boy can't understand, but the parents are happy. The boy is crying in prayer, in stupidity. Yet the Japanese child of the same age is constructing a house. The Japanese boy and girl are more practical about life. Look at the Japanese of the same age. What are they doing, these babies? They are constructing a house. An African boy, what is he doing? He's crying for help. Whose God is he crying to? A Roman God. A Roman created God. Now, that's the stupidity of religion in Africa. Now, Brian, we go back to our production. Yes, that's Carl Sagan, one of the thinkers that have motivated me over the years to think rationally. Please go out and check out Carl Sagan. I won't read anything on the screen. I'll just show you names. Let us go ahead, Brian, very fast. Brian, very fast. I'm not going to read anything. Maybe I can read this one. Question everything, worship nothing. I question everything and worship nothing. Yes, that is humanism. Make the world a better place. Quit your religion. Yes, make the world a better place. Quit your religion. Brian, very fast. We move. Africans are killing each other. All over Africa, we are killing each other. By Allah, by Jesus. By Allah, by Jesus. That is the stupidity of religion. God could easily appear and clear up the global religious chaos and confusion, but a delusion can never appear in reality because God does not exist. It's a delusion. Therefore, God cannot solve anything. That t-shirt is so awesome. I love it. They say, don't take it personally. I reject all gods, not just yours. Exactly. That's my philosophy. Please don't take it personally. I reject all gods, not only yours. I reject all gods. I've met Dan Becker. I've met Dan Becker several times. Here he says that the longer I have been an atheist, the more amazed I am that I ever believed Christian notions. Exactly. You become amazed. How did I believe all this nonsense? The moment you wake up and say, I was sleeping. Jacob wrestled with God all the night and won, says the word of the Lord. The word of the Lord says that Jacob wrestled God all the night and won. And remember what God gave Jacob? Go and read your Bible. He favored Jacob for wrestling with him. Now, who was God? Look what God. So why did God regret for creating Satan? Satan, as they call it. But he regretted for creating human. Exactly. God creates Satan and doesn't regret. God creates human and regrets, says the Bible, the word of the Lord. Confusion. The Bible is full of confusion. So I'm pretty sure our entire solar system is a single atom, and the sun is the nucleus, the planets are electrons and neutrons, and we are subatomic particles, and above all, as above, so below. That's a philosopher, a scientific philosopher saying that. Thank you so much. We are talking about why I chose humanism. Why humanism the way. Now, this is what Humanism International defines humanism. One of the gurus there, the comedian, the humanist Tim Newton, says humanism is important because having a non-superstitious worldview allows you to go about your own business, making ethical choices based on a general desire to do the most possible good. That is humanism. That's why humanism is important. Do the most possible good. You go ahead, be a nice human. Why am I humanist? Because it's important to be a nice human. Simply be a nice human. Continue, please. Yes, look at that. Look at that. We had the evolution from Africa, from all that stages to Homo sapien, from all those stages to the final man, Homo sapien, the thinking man. And then what happened when they got us religion? We began worshipping stupidity. The cross became our thinking tool. And the cross will never take you anywhere. That's where we are now. It is death, it is confusion, it's division. And of course, why did they get the cross? Of course, remember the story of the ark in Kemetic Egypt. Now continue. Continue, brother. Continue with the photos, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, briefly, why am I a humanist? Why am I a humanist? Well, today's talk. This is episode 2. Now, if I have any visitor or any of my panelists waiting in the studio, I would like to request you to usher them in. Brian, if you can usher in all my panelists who have been watching this, who want to make a contribution to this show, I want to invite them and come in, and then we talk about humanism. Remember, I'm sharing with you why I am a humanist, why I chose humanism over nonsense, over superstition, over lies, over divisions. I should tell you this again. The Bible is the book which promotes racism. Let me repeat it again, and I can qualify it 100 times. The Bible is a book which promotes racism. The same thing happens with the Quran. The same thing happens with all these other so-called holy books. Why do I say so? The Bible places certain people above others. Read the history of the Bible. The Bible says that some people are chosen and others are not chosen. Some lands are holy, other lands are not holy. Some sexes are holy, other sexes are not holy. Brian, if you can't get any other panelists, please get me back to the studio. I want to now talk this without... okay, go ahead with the images. Go ahead with the images. Thank you. Now, why do I say we need humanism? Because religion divides us, because religion creates racism, because religion creates some classism, religion creates divisionism, religion creates mythology and misogyny. There's what we call misogyny. where men are pampered, men are treated as above anything. Religion drafts reasoning. Religion makes people think in terms of absurdities. People think absurdities as true. African religion is even dangerous. I repeat this, African religion is even more worse, because African religion somehow is advising people to kill others in terms of sacrifices. Up to now, people believe that actually you can go and cut someone's throat and then you appease a god. Look at this. Wait a minute, Brian, I explained this. So God can make a universe over 28 billion light years across, containing billions of stars and planets, just so a few apes on one single insignificant world can worship him, but they can't be bothered to help a starving baby. Exactly. Look at that logic. That God makes a world, a universe, over 28 billion light years across, containing billions of stars. By the way, the world has billions of stars up there, and planets, so that a few apes, we are apes, on one insignificant world. Our world is the smallest, if you want me to put it that way. It is very insignificant. There are better worlds up to there than the earth. But this God, instead of minding about better things, this God minds about us sinning. But this God still cannot help a starving baby in Africa. This God cannot help a starving baby in Gaza right now. This baby cannot help a starving baby in Ukraine right now. So this God is useless. Brian, continue, please. Brian, continue. Let us have another slide, please. Yes, but we have seen this already, Brian. Brian, let me go back to the screen and then I conclude with this. Let us go back to the screen, Brian, if you can hear me. My producer is in Nairobi, Kenya. And of course, I'm based far away from Nairobi, Kenya. I was in Nairobi, Kenya. It's a wonderful city. Of course, I've been in Kenya so many times. I was there. I've sold my books there since 2007, I think. I've been in Kenya for a long time. Kenya is a lovely country. So my producer today is based in Kenya. And I've been talking about humanism and why I am humanist. This is episode 2. Remember, I'm going to be bringing more thinkers on this set. I'm going to bring people from USA. I'm going to bring Canadians. I'm going to bring people from UK, people from Scotland, people from England, people from all these other places here. I'm going to bring people from Denmark, people from Netherlands. I have friends in Norway, and I've been lucky to go to this country. So I have these friends there. I want to bring them on set here. You're going to see these guys telling you why they are humanists. I'm going to bring people from Singapore. I have many friends in Singapore. I have people in Philippines. I'm going to bring Filipinos here to tell you why they are humanists. And of course, I'll bring so many people from Africa right in this program, right on set here to tell you why do we choose humanism? Because, simply answered, it's the best worldview. When I choose humanism, I can go to anyone's home as long as I'm sure they're humanists. I will never feel threatened. I've traveled in so many countries all over the world, and I've been lucky to stay in homes of humanists. And when I go to a home of a humanist, I'll sleep and have a sound sleep because I know no one is going to harm me. Humanists are human beings. They are not Muslims, they are not Catholics, they are not what? They don't have this kind of thinking that there is a God, therefore I'm a sinner. A humanist is going to welcome a homosexual. I'm not a homosexual, but a humanist welcomes a homosexual. And I've been defending the right of homosexuals because they are human beings like me. In Uganda, we fear homosexuals. We call it homophobia. We think that homosexuals are not clean. That because a Bible is a wrong book, a book of propaganda, a Bible is a racist book, a Bible is a book of misogyny, a Bible is a book of lies. It is full of lies from the first line of the Bible. Simply open the Bible, Genesis, the first line is having a lie, including the last line. I read the Bible for 13 years. The first line in the Bible is having a lie. Call it the first verse. It has a big time all-round lie, but also the last line of the Bible has a lie. Now, someone bases on a book of lies to tell me that homosexuals are not human beings. Yet I have relatives who are homosexuals, and I know they're human beings. But the Bible tells me that actually God doesn't love homosexuals, and the Quran goes a step further and wants homosexuals dead. The Quran goes a step further to say, kill them, kill them, kill them. And we see our brothers, our sisters who are homosexuals being thrown from the top of the buildings in Arabic world. People being forced to commit suicide. I read about England of recent 1950s, where homosexuals were committing suicide. I read about Alan Turing, the man behind decoding the enigmatic machine, the man behind computing. He's a homosexual. He helps to decode a machine that was giving secrets to Germans. It's a world war. Alan Turing decodes it and helps the Axis, helps these guys, the English, the Americans, the Allies, to defeat the Germans in World War. But they are using a brain over homosexual. Of course, Alan never worked alone. He had other people he worked with, but he was the guy behind the thinking. They decode the machine that was destroying the Axis, destroying the guys in World War. He decodes it, uses his brain. It means Alan Turing is smart. Alan Turing goes ahead to give us the first roadmap to making a computer. Alan Turing is a homosexual. What happens? These guys in England witch hunt him when he's outed. Witch hunt him. And what happened to Alan? He dies. These guys in England, these guys in the United Kingdom, witch hunt Alan Turing, and he dies, despite the good he has done for them. The same thing happens to the poet I talked about the other day in America. Guys who have been so good, guys who have been able to make the world move, some of them were homosexuals. But how stupid are we as human beings to think that if a man loves differently, therefore this man is not worth a living? Now, unless you use reason to know that sex has nothing to do with the goodness of a person, that even people like priests, the so-called priests, some of them sleep with women, including young girls, and they defile them because the Catholic Church have told them, don't have a woman. Yet these are human beings. They have feelings, they have whatever it is that makes a man. Then why do you stop a man from marrying? Why do you stop a man from having sex? But some people don't have sex the way I do. Some people love their own sex because they're wired that way. Now, as humans, I don't want to find out how someone loves another. It's their business. It's not my damn business. Whatever happens in the bedroom is in the bedroom. It's not my damn business. If a woman loves a woman, it's their business, not my business. If a man loves a man, it's their business, not my business. But why do we hate them? Because the stupid holy books say so. The so-called holy books say so. These are bad because God hates them. Where on earth did we find historical evidence that there was Gomorrah and Sodom and God burnt it? Where in history, apart from the Bible, which is a book of lies, a book of haters, a book of racists who think that this land is theirs because they are so-called son of God. Where is their God? And they think this land is theirs. Therefore, everyone else must go away. They think they are special because a certain God told them you are special. That's racism. You end up chasing everyone off the land because they think it's your land. Regardless of who has been there, you want to chase everyone away. You say women are not clean because they menstruate, yet you want to have sex with women, but you think they are not smart. They think they are dull. Look at the Quran. The Quran thinks that a woman thinks half what the man thinks. I've read the Quran. I've read Islam. Claims that a man is more intelligent than a woman. Basically, a woman is a subhuman. Woman, my mother is subhuman according to the Quran. Because a woman thinks less, has less intelligence than a man. That's the Quran. And you find women believing in the Quran. How desperate can you be? A woman to take a Quran seriously. A Quran which thinks you are dirty because you are menstruating. When the same man wants to have sex with you. But this Quran says you are dirty. You are not worth at all. Don't even go near the temple. Look at the temple of Jerusalem. The Temple Mount. Go and read who was supposed to go to the Temple Mount. Can I help you to tell you the answer? Women who are menstruating are supposed to go to the Temple Mount to worship the God of the Jews. Short men were not supposed to go and worship the God of the Jews. Men and women with pimples go away because we're unclean. Short men, short women, women with pimples and men with pimples, menstruating women, don't go away. Even they went ahead and said, honor the Levites. I think people from Levi's family, the Levites, are the only ones supposed to be managing the temple. Even among the Jews, they have categorized who's more special than the other. Now you can look at classism. You can look at divisionism, even among the Jews. In their own book, which I've read, their book is called Tanakh. It has the Torah and another part, but the book of the Jews, which is holy, it's called Tanakh. It's not called a Bible. No, it's called Tanakh. I've read part of it, so I know what I'm talking about. I've read the Bible for 13 years. I know what I'm talking about. I've read the Quran, the English version. I know what I am talking about. These books have nothing but division, have nothing but misogyny, have nothing but hate, have nothing but racism. They think certain people are special than others. In these books, a black man is most times condemned. People are going to tell me that when you look at the book of Daniel, chapter 7, 14. I'm even giving a verse. I think I'm right. Daniel 7:14 says, a man with wool hair and a burnt skin, therefore, is the one who is special. So Africans also say, oh, they talk about us because we have this kind of hair. That's nonsense. That's all bullshit. Bible is a book of lies. The same applies to the Quran. Why? Because there's no truth in it. If there's anything like truth, it was by accident. These are political books. These are books meant to help a certain people have their agenda. The Romans created the Bible. I've been explaining that. Why? Because they want to suppress everyone, including the Jews. The Jews have Judaism. How do we beat them at their own game? How do we beat these people in Kemet who have their own god, Isis, Osiris, Heru? How do we silence them with a good book? They are Coptics in Ethiopia. They have their own version of the Bible. I talked about it here. How do we silence them? They create Christianity. How? They write their own book. They call it a Bible. Who does that? Flavian family. Who does that? The Piso family. Who does that? Medici family? And more? Should I tell you more? So all these are political tools of power. Roman Empire ruled the world. Roman Empire ruled the United Kingdom where I am. In fact, they simply dismissed themselves because the English couldn't fight them. The English couldn't fight the Romans. They were too powerful. They ruled them, including naming their streets and cities. The English couldn't defeat the Romans. The Romans simply dismissed themselves because they were too powerful. The English were below the Romans, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, for many years. The English, the Saxons, were below the Romans. The Romans conquered Africa, the Romans conquered Asia, the Romans conquered many of these parts. They were there. Now, when you know this history, and know that the guys behind the Bible are the Romans, who had the power to kill whoever disagrees with them, who want to brainwash everyone to think like them, then you take a step back, because you know, England, King Henry VIII, if I remember correctly, says, to hell with the Romans and their gods and their religion. I'm now starting my own religion. I call it Protestantism. The Church of England starts. Now, when you know all these facts, ask yourself, what is it in for me in all this? Where do I lie? Where is my strategy in all this? Why do I need these people's gods? If I can reject my God, Amun-Ra, every religion has a God, a prayer. Every prayer has Amen, Amen. Do you know where Amen comes from? God Amun-Ra. God Amun-Ra. So, why am I a humanist? Because humanism is the way to go. Because humanism puts the human being at the center of everything. I don't kneel before anyone. I don't worship anyone. I think for myself. I think for myself. And I put humanity at the center of everything, because I have one life. Therefore, I must live it responsibly. I must love other people. I must do my part. Remember, Shakespeare told us, the world is a theater, is a stage. Everyone have their own roles. I'm playing mine. Play yours. Brian Kabeko in Kenya, thank you so much for being a wonderful producer. Thank you so much, our viewers, for watching this show. Subscribe to Humanist TV Africa. Check it. We have information. We have news. It is full of entertainment. Check us, subscribe, share, and like. Live better, stay positive. See you in the next one.